Hey everybody, welcome back to the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. My name is Scott. If you're new to this channel and you're looking for reviews of different whiskeys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit the bell notification. That's going to alert you to when I'm doing new uploads or live streams. If you're already a supporter and subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for all of your support. So today from the Jim Beam Distilling Company, this is going to be the new old age-stated Knob Creek small batch whiskey. So this was something that, as most people are aware of, kind of went away a couple years ago regarding the age statement on the bottle. Well, now it's back, a little bit older. The older release used to be, I believe, 9 years as an age statement on the small batch release. Now it's come back here in end of 2019 as a 12-year age stated small batch. So a little bit of information on this. MASHBILL, as always with Jim Beam stuff, undisclosed. Proof, 100 proof, which is a really nice proof on a little bit of an aged whiskey. Again, 12 years age stated. MSRP on this, I just picked this up actually at the distillery. For me, it was $68, but it looks like it's fluctuating right around that maybe $60 price point now that it's being kind of released out to more places. So typically what I try to do with most or all of my reviews is we'll go through the appearance, we'll nose it, taste it, and then really discuss any other general information regarding the product itself. So, all right, let's go ahead and kind of get into things. So, color on this, you can see, is kind of a really nice, like light or medium kind of copper type of color. And one thing, again, I always like to try to do is move the whiskey around in the glass just to see kind of how the legs are running, how it's sticking to the glass. And this appears to be fairly oily, which is nice. That's one thing you really like to kind of see. You know, the more oily it is, generally speaking, the more mouth coating it's going to be, which usually relates to a little bit more flavor in your whiskey. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll kind of get into the nose. So right away, a really nice big hit of that dark fruit, that cherry aspect. I have actually had this bottle open now for about a week, so it's had a chance to open up a little bit. I did have the whiskey that I'm reviewing today that's in the glass open for maybe about 15 minutes, so it has had a chance to kind of open up a little bit. But yeah, right away, that nice kind of hit of the dark fruit, the cherry is kind of coming out of it. Some really nice oak that's there. Sweet corn presence there. And here's a little bit more of that kind of Knob Creek peanutty or peanut butter type of note to it. Really nice spice there. More of that vanilla that's kind of coming through. So it's really starting to kind of develop. It's you know, a fairly, I don't want to say over complex nose, but it's a really nice, rich, kind of a deep, rich nose, if that makes sense. Yeah, again, that really nice sweetness, that vanilla, the caramel that's there. A fair amount of oak again, but really heavy on the dark fruits, which is something I really enjoy in a whiskey. So, all right, more importantly, let's see how this tastes. Cheers. So first sip of the day, before we kind of get into the review, I'd like to maybe get another second sip just to allow the palate to be acclimated to, you know, something that's a little bit higher proof. You know, 100 proof for a lot of people is a relatively speaking, you know, high proof. So to try to judge anything off the, you know, the first sip is a little bit difficult to do. Coats the glass really, really well. Nice mouthfeel right away. But again, that nice, sweet oak flavor that's there. Those dark fruits are really starting to kind of come through on this. And that's something I get a lot of times with Knob Creek is the complexity, the richness of it. It's probably why it's something I really, really enjoy just because of that flavor profile on it. Rich caramel note there, but again, that sweet oak that's there. Those dark fruits really nice. Some of the burnt and brown sugar is there as well. Really, really nice spice, and I would say the spice for me is hitting more on the mid to the back of the palate. That's something I like when a bourbon kind of hits those notes. It seems to kind of lengthen the finish for me, rather than it being kind of on the front of the palate and just kind of dissipating. The longer it stays on the mid to the back of the palate, the more kind of flavor profile, or more of the longer the profile becomes, generally for me anyway. But yeah, again, just that oak that's there, the dark fruits, a little bit of leather just kind of came out in it a little bit. That nice spice that's there, you know, drinks about, you know, what you'd expect for 100 proof, not overly hot, lets you know there's a little bit of proof. But again, those dark fruits that are there, the brown or burnt sugars, that caramel, some underlying vanilla notes that are there. Really, really nice, I would say. You know, not overly complex, but there's this richness to it. And again, kind of going back to what I said before, it's something I really enjoy with a Knob Creek, and I think a lot of people who can maybe get beyond a little bit more of the oak forwardness that it has in it, if you can get past a little bit of that heavy oak and appreciate some of those kind of, you know, dark fruits, the burnt sugars, you know, that dark fruit, some of the oak that's there. Again, if you can get past that, it's a really, really fantastic bourbon whiskey. So, I mean, I don't know, I mean, it's one of those things I hope a lot of people have a chance to really try. It's just a really well put together whiskey, you know, and again, for a small batch to be age stated as 12 years, that's a really nice age on a whiskey. With that being said, you know, you'd expect for there to be sometimes a little bit more oak, you know, on something that's sat in a barrel for that age. And again, we know that with it being age stated as 12 years, that's the minimum age that would be in that bottle. So it could be blended with older whiskeys, but if you're going to age state it, you have to state it as the youngest whiskey that's going in the bottle. So, and I guess just the more I've talked a little bit, some of that leather note has kind of come out in a little bit. Not dry really at all. You know, if we start to kind of get into the finish part of it, I would say it's all of medium, maybe starting to kind of teeter on that medium long side of things. But again, there's that richness of the dark fruits, that oak that's there, the vanillas, the caramels, those brown sugars. Just a really, really well put together bourbon whiskey. Something I would highly recommend if it's something you can find. You know, go ahead and pick it up. Now, regarding value, I got this guy. So this is the Knob Creek single barrel, 120 proof, and generally speaking, you know, usually those on the shelf are right around that $45 price point. Now, again, these are single barrels. This is a single barrel specifically, but when you start to kind of maybe talk a little bit about value between, you know, let's say 60 and, you know, $70, probably not that quite that high. But when you start talking about the value of what you get, it's really hard to not want to lean towards something where, again, with these single barrels, you do also get something that's got a significant, you know, age to it a lot of times, especially if you can find, you know, some of the store picks. They have, you know, some fantastic ages to them. And again, there's that rich complexity that kind of just, you know, comes out in the Knob Creek. So, you know, again, regarding value, and to try to compare the 120 proof to 100 proof, I don't know would be really, you know, very fair. I mean, you have to really kind of compare the maybe older or just a standard small batch Knob Creek to the now new 12-year age stated small batch bourbon. So, but with that being said, I think this is an absolutely fantastic bourbon and is worth the $60 price point as far as I'm concerned. So if you can find it, I know it's newly released, don't hesitate to pick it up. I think, again, you'll really appreciate this bourbon. Again, it's a little bit more oak forward, but once you get past that, you know, again, some of that richness, that dark fruit and the cherries, you know, the brown sugars, the vanillas, the caramels, all of that kind of just blended together, a nice spice to it, all kind of, you know, lead back to it being just an absolutely fantastic bourbon. So again, I'd highly recommend you pick this one up if you can find it for around that $60 price point. If it ends up being a little bit less, even better. So with that being said, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to another review. I really appreciate it. Remember, like, subscribe, share the video. You can, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below. If you'd like to follow me on other social media platforms, you can on Instagram and over on Twitter, also Facebook page, My Bourbon Journey as well. So again, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another review. And also remember, it's about the journey and not the destination.